Hello and welcome. I'm Marquette and this is Mind Body Dallas. Today I'd like to talk to you about this wonderful tiny little book called The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. Am I saying that right? And it is so good. So let's talk about, first of all, the indoctrination or the dream is what he calls it. Like the dream that we're living in is what society and history and generations long before us have created for us to live in and be a part of. And we either go with this plan or go with the program, or you get in trouble, right? You get punished. And we do this with dogs. We tame dogs and cats and circus animals. And a lot of times we're using positive reinforcement, but sometimes with, again, dogs and horses and kids, we use spankings. It's like, you're gonna get a spanking, or if you don't get right, you're gonna get left. Well, the worst thing, never ever joke like that, because the worst thing, the number one worst thing could ever happen to a kid is to be abandoned, is to be left. So don't joke like that. It's really scary as a child, and it is, though, the type of punishment we get. Like, well, I'm gonna leave you out of my birthday party. I'm gonna leave you out of my marriage. I'm gonna leave you out of my life if you don't act the way I think you should act. So you'll see it with friend groups. You see it in society at large. You see it in tiny families. You see things break people apart all the time, whether it's maybe well, let's not get into that. You have your own, you know what I'm talking about, right? So anyway, these rules, beliefs, laws, religions, cultures, governments, schools, you get it. It's in everything. So anyway, these rule our holidays, our social events, our picnics, our friend groups. And it's like, well, you can't invite her if you're going to invite her because she slept with her boyfriend last year. And then you can't invite him because he smart-alecked her and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, this attention, it's so much attention. It's like this ability to focus on what we want to perceive. And we're going to talk about that later. I'm going to talk to you about attention here in a little while. But this process of giving attention and taking attention away, I talked about it a little bit in my last show. When we go against the rules, we get punished. When we go along with the rules, we get a reward. So anyway, being trained or indoctrinated or maybe brainwashed, some people will say. You can put it in a more positive bent. You could say something like, I was programmed this way, so I had to deprogram and then reprogram what I want. See, because I had to deprogram so much stuff in my life, and I'm so happy that I did. And it's not because of anybody was trying to manipulate me and abuse me and blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not a victim to that. It's just, this is what I learned, and then I can unlearn it and relearn something else. You make choices that are for your highest good. So anyway, quit living in fear of being punished or abandoned. The best thing that ever happened to me was when I was left a time or two. I had to learn that, you know what, I'll always have myself. I can always share unconditional love with myself. I can always take care of myself. It's very empowering. So let yourself understand that you're going to be okay. The first agreement, there are 4 agreements, and then I'm going to talk a little bit at the end about I'll talk a little bit about the end about kind of his wrap up, his finishing statements. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. In fact, let me go over the 4 agreements just real quick. Number 1, be impeccable with your word. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. And number 4, always do your best. I'm going to talk about these 4 quickly-ish, and then we'll finish with a little wrap up, and then I'm going to end with a prayer, his prayer on page 132 or 137. Anyway, most important and often most difficult is be impeccable with your word. We talked about it on my last episode that was about, what did I talk about? Attracting your life. Like when you complain about things or you gossip, you guys, that is bringing ruin onto yourself. That is ruining your life. When you say, I want this, and you do that, What you get is that when you say, I want pink geraniums, but you constantly talk about corn. I talked about that in the last one. I think that was my last example. Don't be surprised when your corn comes up, right? When you get what you didn't want, because you constantly talked about that bad corn that you don't like, or whatever. Okra. Let's talk about okra. I love okra, but maybe you don't like okra, and you wanted pink geraniums, but you kept talking about how much you hate okra. That's what you planted. You have to take every word captive. It's the most difficult thing you can do. He talks about that, is speak with integrity, speak with love, speak with care, control your temper. You have to learn how to speak well, speak with intention. Think about every word that's coming out of your mouth. Somewhere in the Bible, I think it says, out of the heart comes the words of the mouth, or something like that. From the heart comes, anyway. Say only what you mean. Avoid using word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Let's see. True. No, not true. Is it be kind, right? Well, anyway, think before you speak. That's what it is. THINK. True. Is it true? T. Maybe it's true, but you still shouldn't say it because maybe it's not H. Helpful. True. Helpful. ITHI. Is it inspiring? Sometimes these things we're just talking just to be talking. It's not inspiring. It's honestly a waste of everyone's time for you to be telling that story, especially even if it's true and it's not helpful or inspiring. It's like a major waste of time. So please don't waste anyone's time. Don't waste your breath, literally. THIN. Is it necessary? You know, sometimes we're just talking just to hear ourselves think out loud. And I understand, you know, you should have a trusted friend or a therapist or a personal trainer or something, because we do verbalize to process. A lot of us are verbal processors, and I understand that. And so I don't want you to feel like there's no safe place to share. But even if it's your therapist or your husband or whatever, they don't want to hear. And so if it's your therapist, she's being paid. You're paying her to listen. But she's probably like, you can do better. You can do better. You're bringing more ruin onto yourself by talking about it, even if you're paying someone to listen. You're wasting her time and your time. You could be talking about something much better. But even if it's a complaint, now, yes, if there's a concern that you need your husband's advice with, or your mom, you call your mom, Mom, hey, I need 5 minutes of your time because I've got to run this by you. I'm not trying to gossip, but I have a true concern. What do you think I should do? Or can you just listen? I really need a hug, or I really need you to listen. That's different, clear the air. But some of that stuff, don't talk about it. Don't repeat it. THIN, necessary. Is it necessary? A lot of it's not necessary. K, is it kind? If you would be sad if someone was saying what you're saying about them, and you overheard them saying that about you, y'all, don't say it. Don't say it. I know you know this in your heart, but don't say it. One of my friends says that her dad raised her saying, if you don't want your words on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper, don't say it. In other words, people might record you, they might see you, they might copy you, they might repeat you. Oh, well, so-and-so said this, that you said such and such. And even if you lie and you know it's true, you still don't, you don't want to be associated with that. And you shouldn't be lying anyway, because then that's even worse. Anyway, the second agreement is don't take anything personally. People are going to do what they're going to do. You don't need to talk about it. You don't need to complain about it. You don't need to gossip about it. And you definitely don't need to take it personally. So don't take it personally. Nothing others do is because of you. It's because of them. When you gossip and you talk bad about them, it does not elevate you. It reveals you. It shows how low you are to be either bothered by it or to talk about it, to be a gossiper, to be a complainer. You have to let it be theirs. What Mel Robbins has made this famous lately, let them theory, let them. Well, it's so funny because that's very old. Jesus talks about it a lot in his gospels, but also like he never ran around making people do what he thought they should do. He didn't chase people down when they didn't agree with him. He didn't talk about them, badmouth them. Y'all, Jesus was the OG, let them. Then came the 12-step program, which came out of a lot of Bible studies. It came from some church movement a while back in like the 20s, I think. It was like from the book of John and James, I think, or something. Anyway, the 12-step program, which made famous through Alcoholics Anonymous and then Al-Anon, and I have logged lots of hours in the 12-step program, and we say, live and let live, right? Let it begin with me. Because I can only change me, but live and let live. This whole live and let live has been going on for years now. And so Mel Robbins, thank you, Mel Robbins, for making this so famous. Finally, someone saying it even smaller than live and let live. It's let them, just let them. So if someone does something bad to you or about you or behind your back or whatever, nothing others do is about you. It's not because of you. It's not in spite of you. Get over yourself. Don't take it personally. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream, their own indoctrination, like I mentioned earlier, the dream that Mr. Ruiz talks about. When you or someone, like, let me just say it like this. When you can shake it off, like Taylor Swift, shake them haters off, right? When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, like what other people say about you is none of your business. That's their own thoughts of you. It has nothing to do with you. When you're immune to that, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Some people choose to suffer these things. They choose to be a victim to all of these things, and I think I mentioned that book by David Emerald, The Empowerment Dynamic, and we're going to talk about that soon, but we'll talk about moving from victim to creator, and you need to step out of that victim mentality. Anything that someone is, you're suffering, then you've chosen to be a victim to it. So all of these things come to you as an opportunity for growth. These things, a person, place, or thing, these things that are attacking you, these attacks are not drowning you. They're teaching you to swim. You have to change your perspective about these things. Number 3, don't make assumptions. When you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. We all know that. It sounds so cheesy, but it's very true. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So find the courage to ask the questions and to express what you really want. I talked about in my last video, ask, seek, knock, from the book of Matthew in the Bible. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened unto you. What do you want? What do you desire? And then set your aim and go after it. Your life will orient itself around that aim. You have to set your aim and communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstanding. So speak impeccably, be clear, be direct, ask for what you want, ask for what you need, ask for what you desire, ask clearly with the Lord, and feel a feeling of expectation, like I am worthy of this blessing. I am worthy of this need being fulfilled. There is a supply for every demand. There is. In the world, that is the law of supply, and we are governed by laws. All of nature is, you are too, and that is the law of supply. This will help you avoid misunderstanding, sadness, and drama. No one needs drama. We all have enough, and we're all done with drama here on this show. We're done with drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. There's a quote on page 74 that I wrote myself a note that I need to read to you. So, page 74. When you transform your whole dream, magic just happens in your life. What you need comes to you easily because Spirit moves freely through you. This is the mastery of intent, the mastery of spirit, the mastery of love, the mastery of gratitude, the mastery of life. This is the goal of the Toltec, which he explains what the Toltec is. It's the old Aztec, he explains it all in the very beginning of the book. Definitely check this book out, y'all. Check it out. I'm just giving you a quick overview. This is the path to personal freedom. Anyway, so we've gone over the first three. So we talked about be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Now it's time to always do your best. And your best will vary from time to time. Sometimes your best is, I talk a lot about the 28-day cycle. And on day 1 of your cycle, which is day 1 of your bleed, you need to be introverted. You need to be as much inside as you can. Rest, sleep, make your big decisions. Save all of your big decisions for day 1 of your bleed, day 1 of menstruation. Fast, if at all possible. Fast all day, or at least fast from any type of carbohydrates. So fast from any sweets. Fast, even if you can just only have 1 meal that day. So maybe have some eggs and cottage cheese and an avocado or something, or just a steak and broccoli, and that's it. Anyway, that will really help you what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, always do your best. And on your best, the first day of your period is gonna be different than on day 1 of, say that's day 1 of winter, then you go into spring and summer, and then back into autumn and around into winter again. So you have the cycles of your season. So let's say by the time you get to day 1 of summer, ovulation, boy, you are extroverted, fun, you want to go out, have a margarita. It's a very different best. You're still you throughout that 28 days, but sometimes your you is a little bit more introverted, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more not as perky, because you need that time to be going within. But always do your best. Do your best on day 1 of your cycle. Do your best on day 14 of your cycle. Your best on day 23 of your cycle, wherever that is, whatever it is in your cycle. Do your best if you aren't feeling well, and on the days that you are feeling well. It will vary. Let's see, always do your best. This will help you avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. There's a poem, something about, I think her name is Portia something or other. She said, I walked down the street and I fell into a hole. It's dark in here. It's cold and scary and lonely. I'm scared. I got out of the hole. The next day, I walked down, I found in the hole again. I fell in the hole. It's like, it's dark in here, but I recognize it. It's familiar. It's scary. I got out of the hole. Okay, I walked down the street. I saw the hole this time. I knew exactly what that hole was. I went around the hole. Getting better, getting stronger, right? Suffer the lesson until you learn it. Okay. The next day, I took a different street. I didn't even have to see that old hole again. It's like, wow, I love this self-mastery. You're always doing your best, and it's getting better and better. Even when you were in the hole, and when you got out of the hole, you didn't even have to see that hole. You haven't had to suffer that lesson in 40 years. So it really helps you when you're doing your best to avoid judgment, self-flagellation. That's when you're beating yourself up. And that can be a really addictive cycle anyway. A lot of people love to get back in that hole so they can wail and yell and ask for help and help me, look at me, I'm in the same hole again. And I'm not making fun of them, but I'm telling you, I used to be her. I used to get in that same hole and then complain that I was in that same hole. And you know what happened? People stopped answering the call. You know what I mean? The boy who cried wolf. It gets old after a while. I'm happy to help you out of the hole, help you out of the ditch anytime, but not every time. At some point, you're gonna have to do better. You have to change. You have to transform. You have to get better. You have to take a different street. If I fall, I'm strong enough. I'm intelligent enough. I can do it. That's a great quote you can memorize. If I fall, I'm strong enough. I'm intelligent enough. I can do it. Stand up and keep going. If you fall, do not judge. Just get back up. Do not give your judge or your critic, your inner critic, the opportunity to beat you up and judge you and chastise you. Is that the right word? Anyway, beat you up about it. Don't give it the satisfaction of turning you into a victim, Be a warrior. I love that. Okay, real quick, we're going to go over these breaking old agreements. Why aren't we free? Oh man, that's a deep one. You got to go through and ask all these heavy duty questions like, well, why aren't I free? Why haven't I broken out of that old mold? Why haven't I broken out of the chrysalis or whatever it's called with a butterfly? You know, the caterpillar turns into goo and it transforms into a butterfly. And Teddy's getting a little annoyed with me here. Hello, honey. So anyway, it's because we get to blame something. Oh, he's coughing. We can blame something: the weather, the government, my parents, my husband, my friends, my sister, my big sister, my little sister, the fact that God didn't give me a sister. Everything can be a blame game, right? So the judge, like, stop that. Stop yourselves, break those old agreements that you've made with yourself. Go and look, what are those paradigms that I could shatter and become a new person? I want to be wild and free like a 2-year-old before I was tamed into this. And yeah, okay, your parents did the best they could. They taught you whatever they could, but we all have different parents. We all have our childhood that we have to recover from and heal from and everything like that. There's a lot of good, but there's also bad. You take the good with the bad and go back to that 2-year-old. Who did God create me to be? Who am I before I was tamed, before I was domesticated, before I was indoctrinated? And don't think about it as a victim, but you know, this political correctness and stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, you can't be, there are certain things you wouldn't do because love would not want you to do that. God created you to be a healer in the world, to advance his kingdom. So you would live within those boundaries of what God gave you anyway, and you'd be doing your best, which would be a world builder mentality, building a world that you and everyone around you will want to live in. So it starts with you. That's what Al-Anon and AA talks about, is let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. All the miracles, they start with me as I think better and I speak better and I act better and I do better. Everything gets better because of me. I'm the only one I can control. So you don't need to blame your parents. You don't need to blame your boss. You don't need to blame your husband. You don't need to blame your kids. Don't do that. Don't blame anybody. If you're blaming someone, just remember, when you point that finger, 3 more fingers are pointing back at yourself. Don't point the finger. Stop the abuse, obviously. If you're in a relationship with someone who is doing you wrong and you're being manipulated or you're being a doormat or whatever, yeah, of course, get out of it, or, you know, adjust however you need to. If it's a parent and you're not willing to get away, or if it's a spouse and you're not willing to get away, or it's your own child and you're not willing to disown them, which I support 100% all 3 of those. I didn't mean to sound sarcastic. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm saying you can change, though, your response to it. And you can change your boundaries. Boundaries are how I love you and how I love me at the same time. Unconditional love does not mean unconditional tolerance. AA and Al-Anon, the 12-step program, teaches us this. We can detach with love. So you do need to stop the abuse, insanity, for sure, yes. Set boundaries, obviously. But anyway, transform. The Art of Transformation, that's chapter 10 in his book. The Art of Transformation is basically, how do I become a butterfly? Well, how do you become a butterfly? Well, you must want to fly so badly that you are willing to give up being a caterpillar. You can't talk butterfly language with caterpillar people, so you might have to change your people, places, and things. Also, you might have to change you. Are you the cog in the wheel? Are you the one that needs to change? Are you the caterpillar that needs to wake up and go transform into a butterfly? Are you the seed that needs to break ground and become a flower? Are you the coal that needs to get out of that pressure, finally enough pressure to turn you into a diamond and sparkle? Are you ready for the next chapter of your life? Then you have to change. Be the change you want to see in your life. Sometimes too, if nothing changes, nothing changes. You've heard that quote, it's old. But if nothing changes, you get to keep complaining about the same old shit. It's like, oh, here she goes again complaining. Well, nothing has changed because you haven't changed. Like, you do have to change your situation, or change yourself to change your situation. Let's see. Even the Apostle Paul talks about that in his letter to the Ephesians. He says, put off your former self, put off your old self, and become a new creation in Christ. So that is really important. I am the eternal optimist, so I hope this doesn't sound like toxic positivity to you, but I will say there is no such thing as toxic positivity. There's only such a thing as toxicity, which is you being toxic and complaining all the time and living in a toxic situation. Positivity can be unhealthy in a way if I'm not being empathetic. Okay, so if somebody needs empathy and I'm just saying, oh, sugarcoat that, like, oh, your dad just died, well, at least your mom didn't die too. That's not the right answer. Okay, that's what maybe some people have called toxic positivity. That wasn't me being empathetic or whatever. Okay, so yes, you can't put chocolate on garlic. That's true. Do not sugarcoat certain things. Okay, if somebody comes to you and their father just passed away tragically, or even if they knew it was coming and it finally, okay, be gentle, be kind. Don't have to sugarcoat that one. And it's important that you hold space for the person. If they come to you with a sad or a concern, that you say, well, what do you need right now? Do you want solution-based care and concern and love? Do you want solution-based answers? What do you need from me? Ask that. That's a very loving thing to ask. How much time do we have? Let's say for 5 minutes, do you want to talk about solutions? Or for 5 minutes, do you need a hug? Do you just need me to listen? Happy to support you however you need. So ask that question, be there for that person, but also be there for yourself too. Like, hold yourself accountable. Take an honest inventory. No, I've been complaining about this one for about 17 years, and I'm done being the victim. It's time to transform. And he talks about that, the art of transformation. So yes, hold space for yourself. Don't sugarcoat things. But yes, every cloud does have a silver lining. That's a fact, y'all. That's a fact. So that's not toxic positivity. That's called resilience. Let's shift into the dark cloud that's looming over my life for the past 37 years. And let's talk about, what is God teaching me about God? What is God teaching me about myself? What is God teaching me through this situation? What have I learned? What is the silver lining? That changes your perception and your aim. New focus, like I said, okay, just as you are, don't go, okay. He talks about go into the desert. So what is your core fear? Go into that. Have you read that book, The Obstacle is the Way? It talks about like the obstacle is the actual way. So, you do have to go and face that fear. Whatever you fear the most, you kind of have to fear it. So if abandonment, being alone, all these things, like face it. Once you do, you realize, oh, I love my own company. I love myself. I love myself unconditionally. I'm the only one that will ever be there. Do you realize you came into this world alone and you will die alone? Yes, your mom conceived you, but honestly, you were like, it's your own birth process. You were alone, if you will, and you may die alone, and that's all. That could be controversial. You might say, no, I wasn't alone when I was born, and I'm never going to be alone anyway. So maybe that's a bad example, but anyway, go with me here. Go into your desert. What is your core fear? If you are addicted to anger, jealousy, worry, self-loathing, pity, victim mentality, replace every old decision you've ever made. Shatter every paradigm and send them back to the dust pile of their native nothingness. They came from your own imagination, and you can easily just replace them. It's a paradigm shift. I make my perfect beliefs through Christ within, the beliefs of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Those are your new those are your new decisions, your new paradigm shift. Okay, the discipline of being a warrior. Controlling your own behavior, wake up with certain amount of energy each day. We get to decide with what we do with all of that energy. Say you have 40 ounces of energy and you spend 39 ounces of it worrying, regretting, and beating yourself up for the past. So you have now 1 ounce of energy to do what? Barely brush your teeth and get out of bed and go for a walk and take your dog outside. It's not enough. Instead, you could spend 39% of that of empowering yourself and pulling up your bootstraps and speaking kindly to yourself and telling yourself you love yourself. Taking deep breaths, taking inspired action, taking one step in front of the other. You know, worrying uses a lot of energy, but it's like you're in a rocking chair. You're doing something, you're expending energy, but you're going nowhere. So get out of that rocking chair, get out of that old habit of worrying and gloom and doom, and do better. Be a discipline. Learn the discipline of being a warrior, not a worrier. Be a warrior, a strong warrior, not a warrior. And also discipline, the root word of disciple is discipline. So if you want to be a disciple of Christ, a warrior for Christ, then you have to discipline your thoughts, discipline your words, discipline your behaviors, discipline yourself. If you say you're going to wake up at 7 o'clock and you're going to eat a healthy breakfast and drink enough water tomorrow, and you're going to go to the gym, even if it's for 5 minutes, or exercise at home, or you're going to walk your dog, or you're going to write in your journal, and you're going to write your book, a chapter 2 of your book that you started last year, and you're going to do artwork, whatever it is, okay? We all have our lists and our dreams and our goals. Then you need to show up for yourself, discipline yourself, and do it. The only cure for like disease or dis-ease is forgiveness. He talks about anger is a punishment you give to yourself. Anger is like drinking poison, hoping it kills them. Okay, you being angry and unforgiving and withholding forgiveness from them only hurts you. It creates tumors and anxiety and cancer in you, not them. So anyway, emotion, energy in motion, you're letting that emotion flow, your energy in motion. So if you need to practice Qigong or yoga or Tai Chi or go for a walk or do a lymphatic treatment or laugh and giggle, jump around, get a rebounder, jump on a little mini trampoline. By the way, it costs no money. You have a heart here and you have 2 hearts right here, your calves. You have 3 pumps to pump your blood and move your emotion and move your stuff and your ick and let it go. Breathe it out, sweat it out, get it out. I am the master of my emotion and I choose to feel good, especially about myself. Isn't that a good one? I do those a lot on my podcast, Mind, Body, Dallas. I have a lot of those meditations, and that's one of my favorite quotes. I am responsible for the energy I bring into every situation. I am responsible for my response. Embracing the angel of death. He talks about this in chapter 12. So basically, kind of like that Tim McGraw thing, live like you're dying. Walk with your feet on death. Like think hot coals. It's like, oh, you're close. You're right there. You're right on it. You're on death. You are so close to death. Life is brief at the longest. We're here for a blip in time and then we're gone. And you need to think about dying, not in a scary way, like, oh, I'm going to be dying and I'm going to miss my friends and they're going to miss me and what am I going to do with all my stuff? Honestly, y'all, don't think about that. It's clean your house, purge your house. Swedish death cleaning, go research it, study it, do it, let go, purge. Get rid of your stuff that's weighing you down and just go be wild and free. The final way to attain personal freedom is to prepare ourselves for the initiation of the dead, to take death itself as our teacher. We are aware that life is fragile. My husband was a fireman for over 5 years, and no one expected. Every day, I live in Dallas, Mind, Body, Dallas. Every day there are on average 50 to 55 deaths in Dallas. Whether these people died in a car accident or a plane accident, which those are really rare. It's still the safest to fly in a plane. I know there's been a lot of plane accidents lately, but plane crashes. Car accident, you slip in the shower, you fall down the stairs. More people fall down the stairs than you realize. Slip in the shower, that one's a big one. Accidental deaths from medicine. So medical malpractice is like number 3 reason for death of the top 10 in our country. Research that. I think it's number 3, maybe number 4. Anyway, in other words, like taking medicines and accidentally die because this one did, counteracts with this one, or I drank whatever. The point is, I'm not here to fearmonger. My point is, life is so fragile and it's so short, and we've got to live like we're dying, like that Tim McGraw song. So anyway, that's a great way to recognize that none of us get out of here alive. Nobody's getting out of here alive. Jesus Christ, he died and rose again. That's different. He's the one and only. That's not us, y'all. We're not little Christed beings walking around this earth. That's the New Age movement that I'm not keen on that. You are a child of God. You are a co-creator with God, but you're not a little Christ, in my opinion. And anyway, so Christ lives in you, though. Christ in me is shining forth. You do have the Holy Spirit. That's biblical. He talks about that, the Paraclete, I think, the Holy Spirit with us, in us. Anyway, let me get back on track here. So death, yes, whatever. That way you're no longer afraid of what others think of you. What do I care what others think? If I'm going to die this week, I need and seek God's approval alone to feel good about myself. Once you die, he says, then finally, like once you die to your old self, you can finally be someone new, like a new creation in Christ, like Paul calls us to in his letter to the Ephesians. So I think that's pretty much it there. The new dream, and then I'm going to end with his prayer. The new dream is, I'm responsible for my reality. That's basically your new creation in Christ. He doesn't say it from Christ's point of view because his is more like the Aztec, something like the totems or something, the Toltecs. Collapse time and space to observe what you want. So this is called the observer effect, and you can research that a little bit more in Dr. Caroline Leaf's work, and also just study quantum entanglement. But that's the observer effect, is that when I collapse all probabilities into one. So in other words, like I had multiple decisions today on what shirt to put on, and I put on this one. I collapsed all probabilities into one. I took a right rather than a left. I spoke highly of someone rather than a complaint. I ate broccoli instead of French fries because my goal was to eat healthier today. I collapsed all probabilities into one because I have free will, and so do you. And we've collapsed we are either a self-made rich or a self-made poor. I'm a self-made happy relationships or a self-made lonely biddy, right? Biddy's like an old biddy, like a bitter old woman. Don't become an old biddy. I'm a self-made, you get it. We're all self-made. We all collapse all of our probabilities into one every step of the way. And he talks about that. Give me new eyes to see opportunities. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. Give me eyes of love. See love coming out of the trees. See love coming out of the sky, the sun, people, even angry or hurt people. See love pouring out of them, because those bad behaviors, this is controversial, but in my belief, when someone is treating you bad, and it's an opportunity for you to love them and forgive them, the people that are hardest to love are the ones that need it the most. These bad behaviors are not a bid or a cry against love. It's a cry for love. It's attention-seeking behavior. It's to get reassurance. And yeah, okay, what you feel like you want to do is smack him in the face or give him a spanking. It's like, no, you're too old for that. I get it. I know. My husband's treating me like shit. It's actually a bid for love. So if you can transcend some of that and see love and see the bids, I think your life will change for you. Your whole life will change. And yeah, okay, if he's truly, well, that's for another topic. Let's not talk about that right now. Okay. Permission granted. Imagine you have permission to be happy and enjoy life. And if no one's ever granted you that permission, here I am, Mind Body Dallas, Marquette. I am telling you right now, in the name of Jesus Christ, that you are worthy. You are as worthy as every queen that's ever walked the earth. You are worthy of being happy. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of wealth. You are worthy of health. You are worthy of stepping into a new creation today, of becoming a new creation. You are worthy of living a new life, starting a new chapter. Permission granted. He says heaven and hell are just perceptions of our mind. Happy versus suffering. It's your choice. You get to live in heaven when you choose to be happy. You get to live in hell when you choose to suffer. Be a victim, martyr, damsel in distress. It's your choice. It's always your choice. Okay, I'm going to end here with this page on 132. Highly recommend this book, so cute. Today, Creator of the universe, we ask that you come to us and share with us a strong communion of love. We know that your real name is love, that to have a communion with you means to share the same vibration, the same frequency that you are, because you are the only thing that exists in the universe. Today, help us be like you are, to love life, to be love. Help us to love the way you love, with no conditions, no expectations, no obligations, without any judgment. Help us to love and accept ourselves without any judgment, because when we judge ourselves, we find ourselves guilty and we need to be punished. Help us to love everything you create unconditionally, especially other human beings, especially those who live around us, all our relatives and people whom we try so hard to love. Because when we reject them, we reject ourselves. And when we reject ourselves, we reject you. Help us to love others just the way they are, with no conditions. Unconditional love. Let me just break in real quick, say that unconditional love does not mean, unconditional love means I don't get to tell you how to love me, but I get to decide if I want to participate in the way that you love. However, you can still love them. Unconditional love does not mean unconditional tolerance. I mentioned that earlier, and I want to reiterate that unconditional love means I can still love them and be impeccable with my words and my feelings and everything like that. Help us to love others just the way they are with no conditions. Help us to accept them the way they are without judgment, because if we judge them, we find them guilty, we blame them, and we have the need to punish them, get revenge, etc. Today, clean our hearts of any emotional poison that we have. Free our minds from any judgment so that we can live in complete peace and complete love. Today is a very special day. Today, we open our hearts to love again so that we can tell each other, I love you, without any fear, and really mean it. Today, we offer ourselves to you. Come to us. Use our voices, use our eyes, use our hands, and use our hearts to share ourselves in a communion of love with everyone. Today, Creator, help us to be just like you. Thank you for everything that we receive this day, especially for the freedom to be who we really are. Amen.